Episode 11. Crazy experience happened to me, changed my life. I was younger. We were all hanging out one night, a bunch of people. Friday night, drinks were flying. Everybody was having a good time. Somebody got a phone call, said that this guy argument with this woman, did something to her, pushed her. So everybody at the party mounted up, got in their cars. Guess he got mad, got in a fight with his girlfriend, took off, got in a car crash. All driving around, waiting. The guy that I was driving with got another phone call. He left the scene of the accident, got in another car, and was headed down to some bar. Both of us, we started calling all these people. The hunt was back on. We're driving, me in the back seat, another guy in the front seat, and the driver. Guy that was in the passenger seat set me off at home. I jumped from the back seat to the front seat, driving a couple side streets over to the top of this hill before we turned down the street, went down this hill. I asked this guy a question about his stereo. So buddy looked down, he had his hand on the wheel, he's pointing at the stereo, telling me about it, and his arm started slipping to the side. And I look up and I go, oh shit. And we fucking hit a telephone pole doing like 70 kilometers head on. I looked over at buddy, I seen him, he was laying in the seat, not moving. I thought he was dead. I felt glass in my mouth. I couldn't really see. I tried to get out of the car. I smashed the door. It wasn't moving. So I ran the door open. I get out of the car. I go sit on the car. I remember looking back and seeing this car underneath a lamppost. It looked like a drunk driving commercial. I got my head down and I hear this car pull up next to me. And this guy said, oh, are you guys okay? Are you guys okay? I thought my friend was dead that was driving. So I pointed the guy over to the car underneath that lamppost. I probably heard about 8 people over by the car. This guy comes up to me. He goes, hey man, are you okay? I just looked up and I heard buddy say, holy fuck. Everybody over here, call an ambulance. The ambulance arrives. I still don't know what's going on. Everybody just told me to be easy, don't move, stay calm, it will get better. Get on the stretcher. I remember hearing one of my buddy's voices in the crowd, and he goes, who's that? When I knew, I started coming into realization that something was a little off. I get in the back of the ambulance. The ambulance people are hooking IVs up to me, radioing the hospital, telling the hospital, okay, we're about to arrive. Laceration stuff on his face, and so I'm in the back of the ambulance. I'm joking around, cracking jokes. I said to the paramedics that I had to piss. He said, listen, man, it feels like you got to piss, but you won't be able to piss. Oh, my pants get cut off. I'm laying on a table, butt-ass naked. I told the nurses, I said, man, I can't even piss. They told me that they're going to be putting me under. Blacked out. I woke up in the hospital, and I just heard crying. Something I never experienced before in my life. It felt like I was in hell. I hear somebody next say, man, it's all right. You've been involved in a serious car accident. So come to find out that when we got in the car accident, we hit this telephone pole on the driver's side. Smushed buddy. He smashed his face off the steering wheel, knocked himself out. Stitch above his eyebrow, was fine. When I got from the back seat to the front seat, I did not put my seatbelt on. So when we hit the telephone pole, my complete face went right through the windshield and then pulled all the way back and just meat grinded my face. I'm sitting in the hospital. Might be a few hours from when I woke up. The nurse comes in, me about what happened, that I had 220 stitches in my face. You can see my jawline from this cut, completely open, teeth. 2 cuts here, completely open, my whole chin completely open, my nose cut in half, my eyelids, my eyebrows swollen with stitches going through. It was terrible. I was in surgery for 9 hours. Can't feel none of my face still to this day. I'm freaking out of my mind. Like I can't even see anybody. Doctor comes in and she was like, take the catheter out of you, which is a tube that goes up your... I was in such a rush to get up. She had said, we'll come back in about 15 minutes and take this out. So she left the room thinking that. Start pulling the tube out. I'm pulling. The doctor walks in the room and I let go. Went right back up. It was before I got up to see myself. She undoes the pressure, somebody helps me up. I grab my IV. I start walking over to the bathroom. Get to the bathroom. Close the door behind me. It was all by myself. I'm looking at the mirror in the direction. I pull back my eyes so I can see. And I just look at myself and I start crying. It was the worst feeling I ever felt in my life Felt like I wasn't the same person. Felt like, how could I be the same person? When you experience a low like that within yourself and how you look and your appearance. I remember somebody coming in the room and they were like, man, it's all right. By then, just keep in mind, my face was probably swollen about that much. I was only 17 at the time. But one thing I guess that kept me up during this whole thing was in the love that I experienced. Each day, there was, I guess, 2 to 3 like visiting hours. 80 to 90 people came each visiting hour for the 6 days straight that I was there. So the hospital said, like, never seen that many people in a waiting room. I just heard so much positivity. The 6 days go by, I was in the hospital, got home. I pushed myself, I got past it, I'm fine. Think about what you do before you do it and wear your fucking seatbelt.